Hello and welcome to the United Stand. It is Man UFC transfer latest. For those who joined us last year, me and Alex used to do this quite regularly through the summer. We've brought it back. We're not in the old modernised studio. It's raw. We're talking Pogba, Aubameyang and Zlatan in. Mata, Blind and De Gea out. So get commenting on that. I know there's plenty of you watching. Hopefully we're all live, etc., etc. Right, first of all, I'm going to talk Paul Pogba. Linked to Manchester United. Load of rubbish, absolute load of rubbish. I can't believe people are even having the debate of whether you'd like him back or not because he'd left the club. One, are the club going to embarrass themselves and let a player that went for free spend £80 million on him? And as far as I'm concerned, Alex, he basically agreed to go to Barcelona last summer, but they couldn't have him last summer. He's just bought a house in Barcelona. He's going to Barcelona.
Yeah, I reckon. I personally think he'll stay at Juventus, but if he was to leave, I think it'll be to either Real Madrid or Barcelona. I think, like you said, I think Barcelona will be favourites. I think they would want him. I think they'd be willing to pay the money for him. And if you're having the likes of Barcelona after, he's not going to want, even though we have Mourinho, which would help in the majority of the cases, he's not going to want to go. And as a young player, if you get the chance to play for Barcelona and have a chance of winning the Champions League, you're not going to go and want to play in the Europa League, especially at a club that you claim disrespected you every single time you get a chance to be interviewed.
Yeah, I don't think there's much love for Paul Pogba from some United fans. Very good player. We let him go. Boo-hoo. Not going to dwell on it. You know what? Our new manager, Mourinho, sold De Bruyne. And you know what? People make mistakes. Don't really care. As the Alban S13 says, Paul Pogba's overrated. And Pogba, Ross Harrington says, is using United to secure money elsewhere. Last thing I want to say about this as well, I know Real Madrid have just won the Champions League. I hate Real Madrid. And Barcelona are not a far behind second. And I'll say this quite simply. They act like they're the biggest clubs in the world. And I heard somebody saying on Twitter today that they hate Barcelona, Real Madrid and Bayern Munich because they get all the best players. You know what? The Premier League is the best league in the world. I don't think it was a very good league this year. I totally disagree that it was a strong league. It was very weak because the big teams messed up. But if you think, I mean, all Spain's got for it is the Sun. It's the Scottish League in the Sun. You've got two superpowers who dominate the TV money and are richer than everybody else in that league. And then they buy up the best talent. And all they ever focus on is the Champions League. If Manchester United played in a league like that, it'd be like Manchester United and Arsenal alternating between the Premier League and having a really easy ride. And we'd be far better in the Champions League. But to be honest, I prefer the Premier League because at least it's competitive. That league's an absolute joke. And that they get the best players because of the climate, not because it's a challenging league. And for anybody who wants to say that's rubbish, Villarreal, I think, finished third or fourth in their league. Look what Liverpool did to them. Liverpool are crap. So for me, the league is rubbish. And if people want to go and have some nice time in the sun, that's up to them. But it's not a challenging league. And I've told you, winter's coming for La Liga. Premier League is just going to obliterate it. And at least we share our money out fairly. It's a fair league in that sense. And you know what? Leicester just won the league as well. Aubameyang, Pierre-emerick Aubameyang. I'm not great on names. Dortmund striker. He'll be 27 in June. He scored something like 40 goals this season for Dortmund. 6'2" or 6'1.5". Probably going to cost 40 to 50 million pounds. He's going to move this summer, as far as I'm concerned, Alex. We played FIFA a couple of months ago. All I've got in my mind is every time he got it near him, Aubameyang. I don't think he actually did score, but he's right-footed. He's quite tall, obviously. He's strong, two-footed as well, quick, scores a lot of goals. We're going to talk about Zlatan's latest rumour in a moment, but this lad, I just feel that we might end up with him if we don't get Zlatan because Mourinho has been watching him for Dortmund over the last few months. He's clearly going to move this summer. I know he said he wants to go to Spain for the climate, the same crap we've just been talking about there, and he'd like to play for Real Madrid. But that sort of is a merry-go-round because Madrid want Lewandowski. They've also got Benzema. It's going to create opportunities. What do you think about Aubameyang? I know you like him. Much chance of him coming?
I'm not sure because, like you said, he's always said, his dream is to one day play in Spain. He has family over there, and I think Real Madrid will be the team he goes to because he was at the Champions League final watching Real Madrid play. So I don't know if they had a meeting after regarding his future, but they have also been linked with Lewandowski, like you said. But in that case, if Real Madrid were to get Aubameyang or Lewandowski, then that does free up Benzema. So I don't know whether you or other United fans would want Benzema to come in or if they'd prefer Zlatan.
Aubameyang is apparently how you say it. I knew I was going to get it wrong. And Carl Rees, you're right. We are linked to Pancic from Roma today. We're linked to loads of players. We'll cover what we covered today. We'll do other shows. Obviously, we're back now with these Raw live shows. If you like them, do drop a like. I know we do a lot of the nice studios and that, but sometimes it's nice just to get it raw and have a chat. And I think that's what we're trying to do here. So Aubameyang or whatever, I think he'll go to Real Madrid. But it's interesting that Mourinho has been watching him. And I think some United fans probably do realise it, some not. Mourinho is a game changer. We've been rubbish in the transfer window for over a decade now. Mourinho makes anything possible, so don't be shocked about it. But Zlatan, I think we need to discuss him, Alex. He's come out and had this stage press conference again. Rumours he was going to go back to Malmo. Quite rightly, Zlatan's come out and said, I'm too good for the Swedish league. I think it's inevitable he's coming to Manchester United, although he's saying he's enjoying all the coverage of it and listening to the stories, and some are right and some are wrong. It's Manchester United, the MLS, or China for me. That's where I'm at. And I think he's coming to Manchester United. And I think it'd be absolutely perfect for a season or two, because we need that big, passionate, strong number 9 who's going to get a load of goals, but also he's got experience, and he can be the figurehead of the team, and he can bring some much needed passion and industry to that front line, and also bully defenders. But I know you're a bit unsure about it. I mean, I'd happily take Benzema. I like the look of Morata. I said it on Twitter last night. I think our number 9 is definitely going to be one of these 4: Zlatan, Benzema, Aubameyang, or Morata. But Zlatan.
Zlatan, I would definitely want. I'd be really happy if we got Zlatan. Morata, I do not want Morata. I was looking at his stats the other day. I know you can't judge everyone from stats, but if you look, Rashford nearly has the same amount of goals as him in a harder league in a third of the games. Like, Morata has like 15 goals in 40-odd games. And I know people like marvel that he scores like a screamer in the Champions League and stuff, but the people aren't watching him in Serie A during the week. And I'm not saying I am either, but I'm looking at his goal tally for the amount of games that he's playing, and everyone harps on about him. And it really isn't that impressive when you look at the likes of Zlatan and Aubameyang, how many goals they're getting. In terms of Benzema, he doesn't necessarily get as high goals as the other two, Zlatan and Aubameyang, but he does get a lot of assists, and he does contribute to all-round play. But I tweeted out the other day, I'm like, if it was Morata that we were going to get, I'd rather just play Rashford than Morata. I don't think Morata's a Mourinho type player anyway, whereas Zlatan is. And I know people say about his age, but I think he's still got time left at the top. And if you're saying he's too good for the Swedish league, then surely he's too good for the MLS and the Chinese league as well. So it has to be the Premier League he's coming to.
It's a very good point, that, actually. And even I'd not picked up on that if he is too good for the Swedish league, then he is too good for the MLS and China, because they are way inferior. Looking at some of your comments, don't think Aubameyang will come if Zlatan is also coming, says Von Cringe. I'd agree with that. I don't think we'll get 2. Curtis 7, United won't buy 2 strikers. Somebody just mentioned about Carrick extending, Anmol, Carrick extended, ? Looks like he will do. Joe and Maria Thought says Ardash. I think he's a bit too lightweight for me. Willian or Mane for right wing, says Lewis Smith. I've just done an article on that. It'll be up on the website in a bit. Willian for me every day of the week. I think Mane is a poor man's Willian. I can't see us getting any Chelsea players because of the Mourinho exit from there. Willian. If you don't know about how Manchester United line up, the most important 3 positions, obviously has the 2 holding midfielders, but they're more box to box. It's not this static stuff Van Gaal does. I know you've got the number 9 in the back 4, but the 3 most important players in a Mourinho side are those 3 attacking midfielders, one of which is Willian. Obviously not for us, but for Chelsea. We'll have Martial on the left. I think Rooney will start there in the number 10 sort of position. But their job, they've got the creator, and Memphis came out today, didn't they, Alex, and said that, you know, you'll see a different Memphis next year because I can play naturally. We know that Van Gaal was restrictive. Mourinho isn't restrictive with his midfield attacking 3. They are allowed to express themselves. Think Hazard, Robben over the years, people like that. They're allowed to express themselves. The only thing he asks of them is when we lose the ball is that they are disciplined and hardworking in getting back. That's where I worry about Memphis a bit. But this, you know, people trying to say he's similar to Van Gaal. They're worlds apart. Yes, he's disciplined and he knows how to win a game, but he lets his attacking midfield 3 express themselves. And for me, Mane isn't good enough. I don't know what your thoughts about that, Alex, are.
I would like Mane, but obviously there are better options out there. But I would have definitely taken Mane when we were really strongly linked with him, and we looked certain to sign him last Christmas. But whatever happened, Ronald Koeman saying that they wouldn't sell anyone. But he is a really good player. But I've been reading like comments from Southampton fans about him. We watch him every week and say the problem is he's a bit like Nani, and that he'll be amazing one game and then he'll just disappear for like the next 4 or 5 games and then be amazing again. And when we're trying to be challenging again for league titles, and then obviously not next season, but season after, trying to go for Champions League and stuff, we can't really afford to take passengers.
No, I agree. I mean, Joseph said in the comments there that we who's going to play on the right. I mean, Mane and Willian. I don't want Mane really. Willian, I think, would be perfect. 27 as well, so he's one of them prime experienced players, which I do think we need in the squad. I don't think we'll get him. Be interesting to see who we get, because we need somebody in that position. But bye Mata, says Dara Gunn. Mata. Probably, I don't know. I'll get Alex's thoughts on that. But Daley Blind I want to discuss first, because this has divided opinion, a bit like a chainsaw through a toffee crisp, this one, Alex. I've been saying for quite a long time that Daley Blind is the perfect squad Phil Neville sort of player, can play a number of positions and invaluable in a title-winning side, that you have those sort of players, where I think Valencia and Lingard fall into that category. They're not first-team players. People... I think have fallen into the trap with Blind, that because he had a good season last year, he should be first team. If you want to win a title, there's no way he's a first team player. Certainly not at centre-back. But as a squad player, I think it could work. But I think the big mistake Blind has made is that his family are very close to Van Gaal. He came out quite quickly after Van Gaal was sacked and said that he'd been treated badly. And also, Barcelona being linked to him. Does he want to be a squad player, or does he want to go and play for Barcelona? I think Barcelona is perfect for Daley Blind to play as a centre-back. You don't have to do much defending. You get a lot of time on the ball, and his ball distribution is very good. I don't think Mourinho will lose any sleep about letting Blind go to Barcelona, because for a squad player, he'd be decent, but he could go and get somebody else who he doesn't have to worry about loyalty and everything like that. And when I say loyalty, Blind is very close to Louis van Gaal. And if you're Mourinho, the one thing you don't want is a repeat of Chelsea, where I think it was a shock to him that he lost the dressing room. I mean, who would have thought that Mourinho, loved by Chelsea, could lose that dressing room? He did. You want to be very wary of that. And I think Blind could well be going. I think we'll get a good fee for him because he's had a good season. And ultimately, I wouldn't mind him staying. He's a good squad player, but he's a squad player. And that's where it begins and ends for me. I won't lose any sleep if he goes.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's always been like a really good utility player, and he is a really good player. But some United fans just overrate him so much. He is a good player, but he should only be used for when we get injuries. But if you look at like the Chelsea side, under Van Gaal, obviously people always say how he had these prehistoric training techniques, and that's why we had so many injuries. Jose Mourinho with Chelsea, when they won the league 2 seasons back, they basically played the same team every single game for the whole season and didn't pick up a single injury. So if like his training methods are different and obviously more up to date, and they don't necessarily put as much pressure on the players to pick up these injuries, then I don't see where he's going to play. I mean, we have Luke Shaw, who's going to start at left back over him. If he gets injured, a lot of people would rather have Bothwick Jackson at left back over Blind because of obviously the pace and everything. And Bothwick Jackson can put a good cross in. And then at centre back, surely we're going to buy a centre back, but I've seen a lot of people complain about, how can we sell Blind and keep Phil Jones? But I think we'd get rid of Phil Jones as well, to be honest. And because he is just a walking injury, and we should really cut loose. I had a lot of faith in him, but it's just not working out. And in terms of Barcelona, I think he would fit their style of play really well, because obviously he's a really good passer for playing out from the back. But if we're linked with like the likes of John Stones, then I think he's better suited for our team.
Yeah, and I think that's what it comes down to. Wherever you think about Blind, does he want to be a squad player at Manchester United, or does he want to go and play for Barcelona? Unfortunately, he's probably going to be down to him, and given that choice, he's going to go. So don't blame people who think he should go. Don't blame Mourinho. He's a squad player. That's what he is. And at Barcelona, he can probably be a first-team player because they're going to get rid of Mascherano. I mean, Forum Platt says Blind is a keeper. Dara, Blind is unsung hero. Typical Habib Gaming, we need Blind. Blind is not a first-team player, says Farouk. Blind is our new O'Shea, says William NG. Lewis Smith, Blind has been one of our best players. What I would say before we moved on to De Gea is that, you know what, maybe this is the problem that some United fans were saying towards the end of the season, that because we've been poor for 3 years, you've lowered your expectations. We finished 5th last year, and Blind was one of our best players. But against West Ham and Spurs, he got exposed. We got well and truly stuffed, and he was poor. If you want to finish 5th every year, by all means, play Daley Blind as a centre-back. If you want to be a title winner, and maybe you've forgotten what that's about, then Daley Blind doesn't start. He's not. And Alex is right. Borthwick Jackson should be the left back understudy. In the midfield, people are saying he's a defensive midfielder. Sorry, Carrick and Schweinsteiger are probably going to be the backup. I'd put Fosu Mensah ahead of Blind as well. And then centre-backs, they're the two most important positions, other than the number 9, in a Mourinho side. He's not going to have Blind, Jones or Rojo as his first choice centre-backs for varying reasons. Rojo, you can't trust him. Blind isn't really reliable in the big games, and Jones isn't reliable in any sense, injury, and he's crap. So you know what? I think Blind will go for his own decision because I think he'll want first team football, and he'll get that at Manchester United. But I'm not at Barcelona. But I'm not saying he hasn't had a good season. He has. But let's not forget it was a pretty bad season for Manchester United. Right, quickly, David De Gea, Alex. Madrid have come out again saying, well, we've got unfinished business. We wouldn't mind getting De Gea. I'll tell you what I say. I'll say, Real Madrid, by all means, you can submit as many offers as you like, but we will only deal with you by facts.
Yeah. I think losing De Gea this season, if it happens, I personally would rather, if he went to Barcelona or something, I'd be fine with it, and I'd wish him well if he wants to go back to Spain and stuff. Or even Atletico Madrid, I'd be fine with. But the only thing I hate is because I just despise Real Madrid with every single part of my being, and I don't understand why any United fans wanted Real Madrid to win the other day in the Champions League final, because they always come after our best players. They always, like Perez just recently, again, talking about De Gea in public. They're just such a classless, scummy club. They're just an absolute disgrace. But under Mourinho, losing De Gea wouldn't be the end of the world. We shouldn't be relying on a goalkeeper as much as we have been. And there are a lot of good goalkeepers out there that I think De Gea would be fairly easy to replace. If we lost him to the likes of Real or Atletico, I'd go for Oblak, Atletico's keeper, because he's really good, I think.
Yeah, it's interesting you said that, and I think we were talking about it a bit on Twitter, weren't we? I don't want David De Gea to go at all. I think he's the best goalkeeper in the world. I don't want him to go. However, I don't think he's going to go. He's got the same agent as Mourinho. I don't think he's going to go unless Mourinho decides he's going to go, because I just don't think that's going to happen. However, I think Alex is right, because we're never going to be as reliant as we have been on a goalkeeper in the last 3 years. Manchester United have never been like that. You don't rely on your goalkeeper as much as we have. And I personally think we'd have been mid-table without De Gea over the last 2 seasons, ridiculously reliant on a goalkeeper. Manchester United will not be like that ever again, not under Mourinho anyway. So I think De Gea could go, and we could get a decent keeper in, and we'd get by. I think this emotional, oh my God, we're going to lose De Gea because we've been so reliant on him. That's because it's been really weird at Manchester United. He won't be Player of the Year next year. Player of the Year next year will be an attacking player, will score a lot of goals under Mourinho. Them days are gone, and I'm glad. But I'm very grateful for De Gea. But how's about this? I said it on Twitter today. How's about De Gea goes to Madrid and we get Varane? I'm not saying it will happen, but Mourinho might fancy that because he needs a centre-back, and he probably knows Lloris has just refused to sign a contract at Spurs. There's lots of things that are going to happen this year. To be honest, if I love De Gea, I don't want him to go. I really don't want him to go. But let's all be honest with each other. He was going last August the 31st, and a fax machine stopped it. He wanted to go. He was going. He stayed. He's been fantastic again. If he's done a year under a really bad manager, if he wants to go to Spain, I don't want him to go to Real Madrid. But if he wants to go back to Spain, can we begrudge him that? I don't think we can for the last 3 years. And I think United would move on. And actually, if you said Lloris in goal and Varane as a centre-back and De Gea goes, you know what? I'm undecided, and that's only just popped into my head because I'd read about Lloris before we came on air. But I don't think we're going to be as reliant on a goalkeeper as we have done in the past. And I do think he will stay, but we need a centre-back. I think we're going to get Manolas from Roma. I really like the look of him. But there's so many. I'm glad we started doing these again, Alex, because it's better just to go through everything that's going on and get everybody involved. I was going to talk about Mata, but I think we can leave Mata to the next show because there's quite a lot I want to say about that. I think it's obvious he's going to go, but there's a part of me that thinks he might stay. Let's have a look at the comments to see if we can throw Alex a question just before we close up. Stones is crap. Stones would be good. He divides opinion.
I'll just cut in quick and say, do you think that we might have our pre-season first before we sell anyone? Because that's what I was thinking, that maybe he wants to have a look at them before he decides, but maybe not.
You know what? I think it's really interesting. I'm concerned that we'll keep Fellaini, although I think that's a quick win to get rid of him. I think everyone would be ecstatic if he goes. And I think one thing Mourinho is big on is reliability. And whatever you think about Fellaini, his card is marked by the referees in this country, and I think he's just a walking red card from now on, fairly or not. But yeah, so much to touch on. I think we've touched on quite a lot there. And thanks, Alex, for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It's good to do this show again.
We'll definitely do more of them. Do drop us a like. Let us know if you want us to do more. They'll be a bit haphazard. We've done it at 4 o'clock today. I know the Euros are coming up, but there's so much to discuss now as a Manchester United fan, and we really want to embrace all your thoughts, as we always have in the United Stand. We did these shows last year, I think, on a Tuesday and Thursday at 9 o'clock. We'll probably try and do a few more around that time, but also at this time as well. So get commenting. There's so much going on. Give us a comment. Let us know what you think. Pogba, no. Aubameyang, maybe. Zlatan, yes, I think that will happen. Blind, I think he will go. De Gea, I don't think he will. But actually, you know what? Maybe it might be the time to do it. It might be the time to do it if we could get Varane back. Thanks, Jack. It is a great channel, and it's a great channel because of all you lot. Let us know what you think about this show. I know we've been using the real proper studios for quite a while, but we started off as quite a raw channel. It is about content. It is about interacting with yourselves. And I quite like doing it raw like this, and hopefully you do. So drop us a like, get commenting below if you're not watching live, give us your thoughts, and thanks everybody for watching. And obviously thanks Alex for coming on. We'll be back again soon.